Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gear Pro Guide and BoardersGuide.com. Today we have Tucktec's brand new 2023 10-foot folding kayak, and we're going to tell you everything you need to know about it. So if you're in the market for a lightweight and compact kayak, you might want to stick around. So first things first, we have not folded this kayak together yet. This will be the first time. We did do a full review on their 2022 model 6 months ago or whatever it was, but this is the 2023 model. So, and it made some improvements, as we can already see just from taking it out of the box. So, which is good, which means that Tucktec is actually listening to their reviewers and listening to their customers and making improvements to their kayak, just like you should be doing as a brand. So let's get this thing together, and let's hope it goes together just like the other one again, because like I said, this is the first time folding it together, so it may take me a little bit of time, but we'll do it together. Footrest, definitely a new feature from before. Good. All right, well, there you have it. So other than the seat and adjusting my bungees, I'm not sure how long that was, but it couldn't have been more than 3-4 minutes. The kayak is put together, so not too bad. So now we'll work on the seat. Like the strap is going to go through here. I could be doing this wrong, I'm not sure. Go. So there's your gear if you had any. That's it. Pretty good. Pretty simple. So like I said, this was our first time. This is fresh out of the box. These are brand new folds. I did have to give it a little bit of muscle trying to get these inner ones in, but just from owning the other Tucktec, I know over time that'll get a little easier, especially if it's a little hotter outside. We're in the evening time right now, so plastic or polyurethane is pretty stiff, but it's nice and durable. Some quick glance, you know, what I've seen so far, they definitely improved. You know, you've got your bungees in the front, your handles, your fold knobs, you no longer have cotter pins, so you have to worry about losing or anything, which is nice. The footrest is no longer like PVC foam that can deteriorate over time. These side cushions, if you remember or see my last video, were also PVC foam that you had to physically put on and strap on. They got rid of that and got this more rubbery type, which I feel will be much more durable over time, especially in salt water like I like to go in, or brackish. Seat is a different design. I'm not sure if it's more comfortable or less comfortable at this point, but we'll get into that. And then in the back, everything looks to be the same. You know, same fin in the back to help you with tracking. We talked about the knob, little grab handle, and that's it. So we'll get her out in the water and see how she performs. All right, so we're out on here on the water. So far so good. So I mean, we're running out of daylight, so hopefully you can see me, but I wanted to get a little bit of paddling time in this evening, and then obviously we'll get out in the water here a little more, as you'll see further in the video. But first things first, we're out on the water. Pretty similar to the last Tucktec, like I said, other than the improvements that we've talked about. So I did want to run through, you know, some of the features while we're out here, touch on. So this particular kayak 2023 model only weighs 25 pounds compared to the old model that weighed 28 pounds. So you're 3 pounds lighter, so that's a good plus. You're 10 foot long that we talked about. This is the 10-foot model. They also have an 8-foot model, 31 inches wide, we're pretty stable. I don't want to mess up my camera, like I said, but I'm not tipping in this thing unless I really try to lean over to get something. But even if you were worried about stability, I did see on their website they actually do have stabilizers as well. I don't feel that they're needed, but if you do feel that you need some stabilizers, they do have them. 300-pound capacity, which is plenty of weight to hold myself. Plenty of gear, or maybe if I just wanted myself and my younger son or my younger daughter to come out here, they could. They wouldn't have a seat, but they would still be able to fit in here with no problem. Your seat that we talked about is new. It's a new style. It's comfortable. It does still have the foam on it, which I would like to see go away. I mean, I would rather see no foam. They had the foam on the sides here. They had the foam on the footrest. They got rid of those two. It would be nice if somehow they could figure out how to get rid of the foam on the seat. It's not a deal breaker. It's super comfortable, but I just feel like for longevity and durability over time, the foam may deteriorate. But I do know at the same time, Tucktec likes to make all of their products here in the US, which is huge, and not outsourced, you know, from China or anywhere else. So they try to use the materials that they have in-house to build what they have, and they do a great job of it. So like I said, the seat is comfortable. You're up off the ground, so if you do get water, up off the kayak, so if you do get water in the bottom, you're still going to stay dry. It's comfortable. It's got a nice, it comes up probably more than halfway up my back, so nice, good support back there. And then the footrest, so we touched on it briefly, but I've got it in the middle right now. For my feet, I'm 6'2". I probably should go to the furthest one so my knees aren't so bent, but I didn't adjust it once I got back out here. But it is pretty easy to adjust. You just pop the button in and move it back. Another new feature that we touched on briefly are the tie downs in the front. So we've got gear bungees in the front, so if you do want to put a dry bag or something up there, you can. And then in the back, so grab handles, same thing, grab handles front, back, and that's really it. Pretty simple. So that's the beauty of this kayak. No tools required, simple, lightweight, compact. So you don't have to bring a pump out here. You don't have to bring, you know, a hand pump or even a battery for an electric pump to do what you need to. I'm about to bank it over here on accident. So you don't need any of that. So it's really for the minimalist that wants to get out on the water with minimal tools and minimal effort, I should say, because really it doesn't require too much effort, and with minimal space to get out on the water. So it's a great option for those people. Highly recommend it for those, like we just said, lightweight, compact, and very minimal to get out on the water. So great job, Tucktec. Hopefully you'll keep improving, but we still got more video to come. We're still going to do some other testing out in the water, so stay tuned. All right, so we already touched on how easy it is to put this folding kayak together, and you even got to watch me put it together, and it literally takes minutes. And then obviously each time you do it, you're going to get better and better, and it's going to get quicker and quicker. So and then as I was just playing around in the pond, we kind of briefly went over some of the new features that this Tucktec has on this 2023 model, which are nice. But today's a different story. We're actually out on the St. Johns River, and as you can see, it's not the most favorable day out here. This is probably one of the roughest days I've been out on the river in a kayak or a stand-up paddleboard. So it's going to be a good test. So we're going to put her to the test and see how she handles as far as durability, speed, and a couple other things. So stay tuned. Alright, so durability is definitely at the top of the charts for anyone when they're searching for a kayak or a SUP or anything. And probably asking yourself the same question I was. It's like, there's no reason a folding kayak can be durable, can do what I need it to and last, you know, and stand up to the test of time. And after having last year's model and this year's model, I'm going to have to disagree with that. So it's definitely durable, especially when it compares to an inflatable. I don't, running into some cypress stumps or onto oysters and stuff like that, it may not puncture it the first time, but it's going to definitely put some wear and tear on it. And this is just basically a 1/8" sheet of plastic, so it's pretty flexible. So even if you did hit a stump or hit anything, really, you can hit it with a sledgehammer. It flexes and absorbs all that energy, and it doesn't really do any damage at all. So durability, you're gonna have to give Tucktec a thumbs up for durability with this kayak. Yes, it does have folds, which over time will decrease in durability, but it says that it's over 1,000 folds rated. So I mean, that means years of uses before these folds become to where you would no longer be able to use it. So hopefully you would never come to that point. But you'd have to be out in the water. Give you props. That means you've been going out in the water quite a bit if you can reach that 1,000+ folds quantity. So. All right, speed. So this kayak probably isn't really built for speed, but we're going to test it anyways here. As I mentioned, sorry, it's a rough day out here. So we're going against the waves and against the wind, trying to cut through everything getting wet in the process. So we'll see how fast we can get up here. I got my speed app on. I'm not doing anything crazy, just doing a nice steady paddle. I am definitely getting a little wet here on the sides as I paddle. But again, we got 1-footers out here for sure, if not more. We're up to 3 miles. Woo! Got my phone soaked. 3 miles an hour. Good thing is this seat is actually lifted up off the bottom, so even though we just put quite a bit of water in here, my butt is staying dry for the moment. And it looks like 3 miles an hour is about all I'm going to get going against the wind and against the waves. So now we'll try it in the opposite direction and see if we can get any faster. All right, now we're going with the wind. The waves should be a much drier ride this time. And I would hope that we can, yeah, we're already at 4 miles an hour, so we're much easier in this direction. See if we can hit 5, just with a nice steady paddle, nothing crazy. Looks like 4 miles an hour. Oh, nope, just hit 5. 4 or 5, back and forth. So we hit 4. And that's going to be it. That's all we're going to get. So I should probably touch on while we're here the paddle. So this Tucktec does offer a paddle Sometimes they have a sale where you get a free paddle with your purchase. Other times they don't. I have my Nixie sports paddle. I have several kayaks, so I have several paddles, so there was no reason for me to purchase a paddle. But I did look at their paddle online, kind of read a little bit about it. So they make it from the same material that comes with the kayak, the plastic. That way they can keep it, you know, local supplied materials and don't have to go overseas to get it, which is pretty cool. But not able to test the paddle, but I'm sure it's, you know, made just as well as their folding kayak, and probably performs hopefully as good as, you know, a traditional kayak from some other brands. So just keep that in mind when you're making your purchase. If you don't have a paddle, you may have to purchase theirs, or if you have one, just go ahead and keep yours. Yeah, so earlier I actually made a comment, you know, the other day when I was out in the pond, you know, that Tucktec has stabilizers that you can purchase, and I felt that they weren't needed. And I still feel that they're not needed for what I do, but it brings up a good point that there's a purpose for everything. There's a place for everything. And so if you were somewhere where you like to go into rougher waters like I'm in today, or maybe you like to stand up and do a little fishing or something along those lines, I can see where those supports or stabilizers on the side would definitely be a good purchase. So keep that in mind. You know, obviously where you plan on, you know, using your kayak at, and what the water conditions are like most of the time for you, and whether you like to move around a lot or stand up or do anything like that, then it may be a good purchase. All right, just so you can get a better view of the footrest that's down here, this is what it looks like. Just a little adjustable. You got 3 little sections you can put it in. Right now I've got it on the furthest section. Now I'm a little taller, but definitely an upgrade from last year's model that they had down there. This one is going to last much longer, I feel like. And then you got the nice accent with the gear for your bungees. And then another feature that I kind of touched on earlier about, you know, how they upgraded on durability would be their side rails here. Now it's like a riveted rubber piece that's on here compared to the foam that there was. So that's nice, definitely a nice touch. All right, so we're in for the day. As you can see, the wind is really picking up coming off the river here on the west. Started to get pretty wet out there, so we decided we'd call it a day. But in the end, what it really all comes down to is, you know, what the purpose is of when you're purchasing a kayak. So I really think if you're in the market for a lightweight compact, I can't say it enough, lightweight compact, little to no storage, and literally no tools required to get out on the water, and the Tucktec Folding Kayak is the right kayak for you. If you've got some other things in mind that you want to get done or have a purpose for, then maybe you'll look elsewhere. But as mentioned, lightweight, compact, no tools, minimal effort. Again, I can't stress how little effort it is to get out on the water. So if you really have, you know, an hour or two, you want to get out on the water, lunch some other time at the end of the day before a storm, this is a great kayak to do it in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, and we're going to get it folded back down and back in the truck. Thank you. Have a good day.